welcome to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at The Hobbit, Chapter 5, Riddles in the Dark. Oh, that's rid. I forgot a D there. But in this chapter, I mentioned this is one of the most iconic chapters, certainly in the whole book, maybe in the Lord of the Rings series, maybe in fantasy stories just in general. Huge story, very memorable. It starts off with Bilbo waking up. He is completely in the dark. No moonlight, no starlight, just dark in a cave. And he's kind of dizzy because he hit his head, right? So he doesn't even remember falling asleep, or we say getting knocked out. And so he's kind of like, where am I? What's going on? What's in my pockets? I can't see anything. Are my eyes open? He finds his pipe. It's not broken. He finds some pipe tobacco. It's not gone or wet. And he looks for some matches. Can't find any matches, which is a good thing, because if he lit a match in the pipe, goblins would have found him, or something else would have found him. He's in the dark, going down the tunnel. Finally, he kind of gets his mind back together, and he starts feeling along the walls and just starts feeling in there. In this mountain, there are old, evil, hungry things. Things we don't even know about, that are just hiding in caves and corners. Luckily, Bilbo doesn't find one of those, but he does find Gollum. And I didn't realize this until I read the story this time. I've read it a few times, but Gollum is not Gollum's name. Gollum is just a sound. Okay, it's that sound, but he makes that sound so much that eventually his name just becomes Gollum in the story, and as other people talk about him. Maybe they find his name in a different story or something, but for now, his name is Gollum. And Gollum is a dark, slimy creature with big, giant eyeballs and sharp, pointy teeth. And Gollum likes to hide in these caves and catch fish and kill goblins sometimes. And this Gollum sees Bilbo splash into the lake that Gollum lives on. Bilbo can't see anything, but Gollum can see Bilbo. Gollum lives on a little island. He gets in a boat, and he starts moving his boat towards Bilbo without making even a ripple in the water. Finally, he gets to Bilbo, and Bilbo sees these two big balls of light in the darkness, and Bilbo pulls out his sword. Well, he actually already has his sword, because he uses his sword to shine light. This dagger, which is a sword for Bilbo, is one that was made in Gondolin. I can't remember the name of it. The old elf city. So you can kind of see the light. Now, Gollum isn't very hungry right now. He's kind of curious. What is this thing? It's not a goblin. Is it food? And he starts to talk, kind of to Bilbo. Mostly he talks to himself, because he's used to talking to himself for ages and ages and ages. But he kind of talks to himself out loud at Bilbo. And they end up playing a riddle game. Okay, it asks a riddle, Bilbo answers it, and Gollum's like, oh man, this guy's good at riddles. Maybe we should play a game. If I ask a riddle and Bilbo can't get the answer, I get to kill you and eat you. If you ask a riddle and I can't get the answer, I'll give you what you want. A way out? And so Bilbo's like, yeah, okay, let's do this. And they start battling with riddles. Now, the book author, when he's talking about these riddles, he makes them sound really easy. Maybe I'm not very good at riddles, because I couldn't think of the answer to any of these the first time I read it. But this is actually taking a while. It feels pretty fast in the story, but Gollum is not hungry when this starts, and at the end Gollum is hungry. So I would say maybe 2 hours, 3 hours of doing riddles and thinking. I don't know, maybe it was 10 minutes, but Gollum was able to get hungry this time, so I maybe feel like it's actually a little while of them talking and thinking about riddles. Well, eventually, Bilbo wins. Bilbo kind of cheats. He says, "What's in my pocket?" That's not a real riddle, but Gollum gets three guesses and he misses all of them. So Bilbo wins, although technically it wasn't a riddle. Well, Gollum gets angry, he's upset, and he says, "I need to go get some things to prepare to show you the way out." He leaves. Actually, Gollum's plan is to get his ring of power, put it on, which makes him completely invisible, and then go kill Bilbo. But what is in Bilbo's pocket? A ring. While he was feeling around in the dark, Bilbo, found a ring and he put it in his pocket. So Gollum is searching for this ring. He can't find it. He starts screaming. He's angry. And then he thinks, Bilbo Baggins has my ring. That's what's in his pocket. And this whole time Bilbo's like, "Hey, are everything okay? Are you ready to come show me? You made a promise. Come show me the way out. You promised, remember?" And Gollum gets angry and he's coming. And his eyes are like balls of green fire because he's so angry. Bilbo sees this and he realizes that this sword is not going to scare him. Which the sword did scare Gollum a little bit, so he didn't attack Bilbo. But he is so angry, the sword's not going to protect him. So Bilbo runs! And he's running and he's running. And as he's running, he kind of sticks his finger in his pocket because he keeps hearing Gollum talk about it. The ring falls onto his finger as it's in his pocket. The Ring of Power is kind of crazy because it has its own mind a little bit. So it fell off of Gollum's finger, and it fell off on purpose, and then it fell onto Bilbo's finger. In the Lord of the Rings, we learn that the ring wants to be found. It wants people to find it and to use it and for it to be seen. But in this case, it goes on Bilbo's finger. Bilbo falls down. He falls on his sword. Luckily not on his sword, but he covers his sword. Gollum can't see the light. Then he runs right past Bilbo. Bilbo's like, "Whoa, what just happened?" He doesn't know, but he puts away his sword and he starts following Gollum. And as Gollum is leading him, he learns that the ring will actually make you invisible, which is pretty incredible. So Bilbo says, Baggins must be going to the back door. He stole my precious. I need to go to the back door. So Gollum actually leads Bilbo to the way out, even though he doesn't know Bilbo's following him. Finally, they get really close to the back door, but Gollum's too scared to go farther because if he's seen and caught, the goblins will catch him. So Bilbo realizes the only way he's going to be able to go on further is if he sneaks past Gollum. But as he starts to move, Gollum smells something. And he goes on all fours and he's smelling because he can smell Bilbo getting closer. Bilbo thinks about killing Gollum, but then he feels so sad just thinking about how lonely this guy must have been. No hope. His life has just been the same for years. And he just eats fish and talks to himself. And he feels really sad. So instead of killing him, he decides to jump over Gollum. Okay, not a mighty jump for us, but for little Bilbo, jumping 3 feet in the air and 7 feet across, man, he jumps over Gollum. Gollum tries to catch him and falls backwards. And Bilbo runs towards the back door, which he can see is open a little bit. And he runs out there into the middle of this cave, and then he sees goblins. Goblins in armor, goblins hiding off to the sides with swords, ready to catch Bilbo. As Bilbo has been running, Gollum was like shouting and screaming, so they kind of know someone's coming. But the ring had slipped off of Bilbo's finger, and so the goblins could see him. Maybe the ring wanted to be caught by the goblins. I don't know, but it fell off. The goblins start coming towards Bilbo. He reaches back in his pocket and puts back on the ring. Disappears. Now the goblins are searching for him, and Bilbo's hiding. And there's goblins everywhere. Sometimes they even bump into Bilbo. Finally, after probably a few minutes, maybe like an hour of like hide and go seek, Bilbo runs to the door, and he's trying to sneak out, but they have the door a little closed, and Bilbo, he gets stuck. Actually, the buttons boop, 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 on his jacket get stuck on the door. And so Bilbo's kind of stuck there. He can't get out. One of the goblins sees his shadow. Okay, the ring will make you almost completely invisible, except for in full sunlight. And in full sunlight, you could only see like your shadow. Okay, that's how powerful the ring is. So they can see Bilbo's shadow as he's stuck in the door. And finally, Bilbo pushes himself off, and boop, 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 boop. All his buttons fly off all over the floor. The goblins are looking at these buttons, trying to figure out what's going on, and Bilbo runs outside, where he escapes from the goblins. Okay, some vocabulary words. Groped. Groped is like feel, usually with your eyes closed, just feeling. Your eyes could be open, but just like feeling with your hands. Grope. Bulging is like popping. Okay, think of a fish. Its eyes are like coming out of its head. That's bulging, popping. Or maybe my arm. Okay, if I get stung by a bee or mosquito, okay, and there's a bump there, it starts to bulge my skin. Brink is edge. Bilbo's on the brink of the lake. He's on the edge of the water and the lake when Gollum sees him. Perhaps. Perhaps means perhaps. Okay, that's just Gollum saying to himself, perhaps Bilbo will like this. Perhaps Baggins will do this. Out of temper. Out of temper means upset. Having a bad temper means getting angry easily. Out of temper means getting upset or angry. Poser is a problem. These days, poser often means like a faker, someone who's pretending to be something that they're not. But in this time, it meant like a problem. Antiquity means a long time ago. Maybe you know the word antique. Antique is an old thing that you keep a long time. Genuine means real. Oddments is just like different, strange stuff. Odd is like strange. Galled is irritated. So I don't know the ring that Gollum wore. He wore it all the time, but it started to hurt him. Maybe burn him, make him itch, something. I don't know. So Gollum took it off, and he used to wear it as a necklace. But then it started to kind of rub or do something to him. So then he took it off and he hid it on his island, and he only used it when he had to. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what's happening there, but something. On him. On him, we think on top of him. Okay, we think on top. And on him can mean that. Okay, he is on him. But in this case, they're chasing. Okay, they're chasing each other. And on him means like next to, really close. And so when Gollum was on him, he fell down and Gollum ran past. Okay, so he's running, he fell down, and Gollum was on him. Bilbo didn't know what happened. He thought Gollum would jump on him, but he runs past. Okay, so in this case, on him is talking about really close by. That leaves us with my discussion question, which is, can you share with me a riddle? Okay, don't give me the riddle of the Sphinx, okay? Everyone knows that riddle. Give me a unique riddle, a special riddle that will make us think a little bit. Oh, what is the answer to that? Maybe we'll guess it, but try to share us. It could be a funny one, okay? It could be like a funny joke riddle, but try to find something unique. And of course, please make your own discussion questions. That is all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.